Hello, everybody. I'm coming at you live. This is my top 12 albums at the moment for prog this year. I could have done a top 25 or 20, but these are the albums within the first half of the year that I have resonated the most with. And for first place, battle between the two, but after the top five, it really is in no order what I rank these albums, but I'm gonna go from the bottom and work my way up. This is more of a prog metal album. The New Bond Blah. I'm a diehard fan of them. The album's called The Empyrean Equation of the Long Lost Things. German progressive power metal band, really good stuff. Andy Kuntz on vocals. They have a new keyboard player that the original guy, I think named Gus, left the band. They now have Alessandro Del Vecchio, which has been on a lot of projects for Frontiers. He's played with Edge Forever. He's probably going to be a permanent keyboard player. I don't know if that's going to hold true. At number 11, we have Drifting Sun. Like I said, after the top five, these are no order. We reviewed this on the Prog Connection with an 8 out of 10. The more I listen to this, it's more like a 9. But back then, I only had the album for maybe a week or two, and the more I listened to it, the higher it ranks. But I also feel that the album before this is a masterpiece compared to this one. So, like I said, it's like a 9 or an 8.5. Either way, Drifting Sun has Jargon on vocals. Broad Corner has mentioned how he goes gaga for the singer Jargon. That's how I found out about the band was from him. Kudos to him. Shout out to him. Uh, what, 12, 11, 10. Lucifer was. This is on Apollon Records. They had done other albums. This one is sung in all Norwegian. Very good album. I love that it's in its own native tongue. Um, I'm not gonna pronounce the thing. I don't speak Norwegian, but anyhows, from there we have Trifecta, which is their second album by the supergroup that has Nick Beggs, Adam Holtzman, and Craig Blundell. And there is a few guests on here. Alex Leeson from Rush is on a track, and saxophone by Theo Travis is on a track or two. They're like a prog fusion band. This one I like a little bit more because Nick Beggs adds some of that with whimsical humor he has on this. It's wacky. It's not Frank Zappa humor, but it's still kind of funny. The native dialogue on that. The next album we have coming up is the new Darwin. I think it's like their third or fourth album, I believe. One of the albums they did was like an EP, so I think this is what their third or fourth. I lost count. This to me is their best album to date. It's definitely on the prog fusion side. It's heavy. It's like I said, it's heavy on the first 3 to 4 songs, and then after that, it goes a little more onto the fusion side. It has Simon Phillips on drums, Derek Sherinian, I think, is on keys, as a guest on here. It has, if I'm not mistaken, Mohini Day on bass, which is a really popular bass player in the upcoming fusion scene. And I think there's a few more guests. I don't really remember who else at the moment. I'm doing this as quickly as possible. Up next, we have the new IZZ, Collapse the Wave. If I'm not mistaken, they're from New York, I believe. Yeah, New York. And the name of the band is like an acronym or an anagram for a baseball player that used to play for the New York Mets back in the day, from what I read online. And that's how I think it's where the band name for IZZ comes from. So Collapse Away. I actually prefer the other album that came out before this, Don't Panic, a little bit better. Where this album it's very good. There's not an epic on that. The new IZZ. Where the new IZZ, I'm getting more of a symphonic prog to it. It's more streamlined. Whereas in Don't Panic was more all over the place, odd time signatures, had more like a gentle giant feel to it, and the vocal harmonies. This one I'm kind of getting like a Flower Kings type vibe off the new one, but it's not Flower Kings, but it's still got that symphonic structure. If you never heard of IZZ, they got great female vocal harmonies, male vocal harmonies with a little bit of gentle giant flair into them, and they're symphonic a little bit. Anyhow, it's on to the next album. We have Eternal Snapshots by Hasse Froberg, musical companion. Like I said, this is sixth place, I believe. Yeah, we're at number six. Like I said, in my top five or six were mainly kind of in an order. This album, and I first heard it, didn't really resonate with me. The previous album, We Are the Truth, not really a big fan of that one. A lot of people like that one. It's good. Parallel Lies is my favorite out of the current six, but this one is actually starting to really grow on me to be probably better than album number four, which Ed Unitsky did the artwork for that one. Like I said, this is a not a concept album, but it does have like some things to it about two different people's lives and the eternal snapshots, good and bad. It's kind of got some sad things to it of how people regret life and all stuff like that. Hasse knows more about it. He said the album to him is like one of his best on a more personal level. And like I said, the album will grow on you if you end up liking it. Now we're getting to number five. We have The Tangent to Follow Polaris or Polaris. This is not the normal Tangent. Doesn't have the full band. It's called Tangent for one. I don't know why Andy decided to label it under the Tangent, but this is a one-man project. He does everything. He plays all the instruments. He does all the singing, the drums, all of it. The first song on here is kind of like the overall theme for the album, and at first I didn't like the single, the follow Polaris. Like I said, the opening song is not bad, but it's to me it's I had to choose between the five songs on here. It's probably the weakest of the five. My favorite, the epic, the anachronism, is definitely got some political stuff on it, lyrical content wise. If you're into that kind of thing, like I said, Andy's a storyteller. Probably the best Tangent album they've done since, in my honest opinion, Proxy. Now, Songs from the Hard Shoulder was really good also, but to me, this is my favorite since Proxy, to be honest. Now we're getting into number four, and yeah, here we go. The new type with a crack on the case. Yep, it came from Amazon. That's how you know. It's got a crack on the case. It's an Amazon exclusive. Now, for those of you who do not like cracked jewel cases when they order from Amazon, don't feel so bad because these things actually made you worth money one day, sarcasm implied, because, you know, if people are obsessed with having holes in their jeans when they buy them from the store because that was a trend, it's probably be a trend in 20 years from now where people want to collect cases and albums of prog material that will sell on disc cost for probably $500 because it has a crack in the damn jewel case. Now, do note, if you go try to crack in your own CDs, people will notice a difference between an Amazon crack and a non-crack. Anyhow, it's out of the sarcasm out of the damn way because you got to make light notes of it. Typa's new album, which is a title I'm not going to bother to pronounce because I'm going to butcher it. If I try, yeah. Favorite songs on here, The songs in our hands and Spiderweb Train, those are really good songs. Darby Todd's on drums to return to form. Um, Definitely really good album. The only thing my only complaint about it is it does start to sound a little bit samey, like it's reminding me of other songs from other albums. Like I say, I mean, when you listen to the Flower Kings, also some of their, I mean, when you're a band who's done out, this is what their 15th, I don't know what album this is, probably within 15th, 16th studio album. I lost count. I know it's over the 12th at least. Your sound, and you develop a signature sound. You're gonna start to have where everything starts sounding similar. It's a very good album. To me, I like this better than the one that came out before, Ursol, whatever it was called, with the little forest. Came out a couple years ago. That one's still good also, but the new one, top notch stuff. And now we're getting into, like I said, third place. Um, It Bites with Francis Dunnery, Return to Natural. Love the vocals on this. Very good stuff. Not if you're expecting an It Bites like 80s type Dunnery, it's not that. To me, this feels more like a solo type album of Dunnery with the just It Bites name on it. It's kind of, to me, it's proggy, but a little more on the AOR focus side of stuff, where it's not like 80s hard rock, but it's definitely got that AOR feel to it. It's very good. The vocals, all of it. It's the guitar parts, the guitar soloing on it, like bombastic. Now, here are the two albums that are tying first. If I was to actually do, probably these albums are going to remain in verse. I don't think anything's going to top it. But I'm gonna do this. This is vocal based. The new Il Silders Bane, I Salders Bane. It has, excuse me, the singer Dorian Will, Julian Will, I forget. Yeah, Ginian Well Day. He sung in, I believe, David Cross band or something like that. The reason why this album, to me, is probably the number one best vocal prog album for me this year. But there's another album that's, this other album's is going back and forth between first place. But the other album's more of an instrumental. So if I was to rate based on vocal or instrumental, these would be the two albums. But I'll get that in a minute. The reason why this album is so good is because this literally sounds like I said, the Pearl of Ever Changing Cell is Salder's Bane. The last two is Salder's Bane had Peter Hamill on it. This one has got a new singer. I pray to God they had this guy again on vocals. It's like in the lost 80s Rush album to me. And since Rush Hold Your Fire is literally my favorite Rush album of all time. People want to crucify me, whatever. I don't give a crap. It's the first album I bought with my own money, other than Vapor Trails, and the local record shop owner told me not to do it. But rebellious teenagers, back when you're a teenager, you always defied authority. Not everybody did that, but this just fits my personality. Oh, who are you to tell me that this album's gonna suck or whatnot? It has that Rush 80s sound to it, and it's very good vocally. I love it a lot. It's definitely very good. A lot of people, like I said, if you don't like that 80s Rush sound, the album's probably not going to be as high up for you. But for me, it is one of my favorites. I have had that album on loop at least once or twice a week since it came out, and I believe the first quarter, between it was either February or March, maybe even, I think it came out before April. I had to look. And this is the best album instrumentally. This album is like 30 years in the making. It's called Merritt Hemmingsen. She's a female. It's all played on it's like she wanted to make a progressive rock album on a pipe organ. and it does have some hamming. It's definitely has a little bit of folk into it. Roy Stolt plays all the guitars on this, and he's updated the mix, updated the master. There is vocals on here, but they're not like regular vocals. What I mean by vocals is the singer does kind of like an a cappella type singing style where you know how somebody's singing the melody to a song like da 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 da, da like that kind of singing. But for me, like I said, other than that, there's no English vocals, there's no foreign vocals. It's just when you do hear her do sing, it's kind of like her humming a melody. It's like something you would hear on a new age album, but it's not new age. It's called Mother Earth Forever. Like I said, it does have that Flower Kings type little vibe on the artwork and all that. Roy Stoll is on all the guitars on this. So diehard Flower Kings fan me, as everyone knows. I'm a diehard Roy Stoll fanatic, diehard Flower Kings fan fanatic. Why I wanted this be probably within the top first or whatever spot. If you do not have this album, you need to buy it. It's that good on pipe organ. There's a little bit of harpsichord, I think, on one or two of the songs. Like I said, I consider this an instrumental album. Even though there is some vocals to it, it's not like your everyday vocals. It just sounds like somebody's just adding into the instrument of their vocalization style, singing the melody. And that's why I said this is kind of like a tie between first place. If this, and I'm probably going to end up having to do this at the end of the year, where this is the best #1 album vocal wise, and this is the best album #1 instrumental wise. Like I said, that's my top 12 at the moment. I wanted to do a top 25. I'm like, nah, I'll probably do those later. But some honorable mentions probably would be at the moment the new Mandoki Soulmates. I have that. I wanted to put that in here. That's very good. Like I said, I got that from Amazon. The case is like badly cracked. Like God, that'd be an embarrassment to show, but I'm probably gonna have to show it. The new Elephant 9 from Norway. That one's pretty good. Also, like I said, the list is still building. I have metal albums and hard rock and instrumental jazz. I think I might make an instrumental one next. To show off. But most of these, like I said, are vocal based albums other than that one I just showed. But for right now, I have more albums on the way for July. I honestly feel 2024 started off very slow. There's not a whole lot of symphonic prog out. Everything was mainly metal. Don't like where Inside Out Records is going. Everything's kind of like, okay, you have Hacking, you have Riverside, you have all these other bands. It's like the generation we live in now is like, okay, Kaipa, good. Steve Hackett, good. Although the Steve Hackett is not bad, it's definitely not in top 10 list. It's like a B plus tier, not A plus and S rank stuff. The stuff I showed you was basically A plus and S rank. Like masterpiece type material. But yeah, I mean, I feel like Inside Out Records has gone downhill. It's like everything they put out, like Leprous, they're coming out with a new Leprous. I don't mind Leprous, but not everything that's released on Inside Out Records needs to be alternative rock and metal. It's not prog. Like Leprous is sort of progressive. I'm talking about stuff like Wheel. It sounds like a Tool clone. Well, Tool's considered prog metal or what? No. Danny Carey does a little bit of polyrhythms, and that's the generation we live in. If it's got djent or polyrhythms, it's prog. Beg to differ. Advent Horizon did an album last year, and everyone was sitting there claiming, "Oh, this is the album of the dang year." And I listened to that, I'm like, "This is not prog. This is alternative rock. Why is it being labeled in the prog?" Enough with that ranting. I decided I'd show off my top 12. But I was letting you know, wow, this year we're starting to slowly get to the stuff I like. Symphonic prog, the good old, keyboards. I don't not everything needs to be degent and prog metal all the time. That in small dosages I do like, but everything on Inside Out is like half the material, over 3/4 of it now. It's just alternative and that prog metal, and I kind of wish they start going, where like you get the Kaifa album from Inside Out, and you're like, thank God you're actually getting something symphonic. And it seems to me that Inside Out has become a legacy acts and mainly all these new type mainstream alternative sounding bands now. It's like since they sold to Sony, I kind of noticed that the label has gone downhill. So if Inside Out Records, if you are listening or the owner, try to get a little more symphonic prog acts and not just release one album a month or 2 albums a month. Try to put like one symphonic album and maybe you want to do an alternative, not where it's a 75-25 split, it seems, at this moment. Peace and have a good day.